Do you want to maybe do some tactics now?
Yeah, sure, whatever that means.
So we'll start with this one. So the first thing I like to do, usually it's with my over students, but here we can't do it because I usually have them count the material. Here you can't do it because it literally tells you white's +2, right?
Right.
Basically, counting the material is the most important thing to do in public. Because think about this, if you're down a queen, if you count the material and you're down a queen, do you think the solution is going to be winning a round?
No, you gotta go for the head.
Exactly, right? So kind of counting the material helps you understand what you're playing for. Take +2. So +2, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but it is maybe a little bit of an advantage. Walk me through, what are you thinking, okay?
Alright, well, so White King is in the corner. It is guarded by 2 rooks. There is a knight that's fairly far, and it has, I think, good influence over the squares, but it's being threatened by the pawn. There is a h8 rook that's on the same line as a king, which, like, it's a great point of attack. b6 bishop that's blocking, like, the black squares for the kings to go, so it feels like you could maybe get to a checkmate here.
I agree with you. I would say king is very weak, right? So what are some pieces helping cut the king square?
Yeah, so it's the b6 bishop, right? It's blocking all the black squares, so...
That's perfect. And then what else?
There is also the f4 knight, blocking the g2, yeah.
So this king has essentially nowhere to run, right? So it can't move here and here. So we need to find a way to deliver a checkmate. So it will be a checkmate here.
I think I know what it is. I think you sack the rook and then you hit it with another rook.
Perfect, yeah. So this basically is kind of noticing that this king doesn't really have anywhere to go, right? Like you kind of noticed. And it's how do we open up this final layer of the king's protection and then deliver that checkmate. So yeah, we are able to deliver checkmate. I think it's very beautiful.
Yeah, it's a good way to think about it, right? Because I mean, I don't think at that level where I'm like counting the literal squares for the king to go, like I cannot always like do that like very intuitively.
Yeah.
So that helps for sure.
All right, so maybe this next one's gonna be a little bit harder, but I think we can work through it together and we're gonna be okay. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy position. So let's kind of walk me through your thought process again. What do you notice? What are you feeling?
All right, well, you say counting pieces, so black is at +4, which is, you know, it's quite a bit of material. It's hard to pull back from there. Even from like +2, it can be hard. Here, it's definitely hard. So I suppose the same concept, right? You go for the head.
Okay. So again, we're noticing like where can this king move?
Yeah, I mean, not a lot of places, right? There is a white bishop that's blocking the black squares. And there is a f3 rook that cuts off that entire vertical. So that king is actually kind of paralyzed, yeah?
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
So which means you only need one check to end this.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm saying, right, is there is a white bishop that's pointing right at king, but there is a pawn right in front of it. Moving that pawn out of the way somehow would be pretty good.
So we wanna get this pawn to move. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So who's blocking us? This bishop. So we have to force this bishop to move. So how do we force this bishop to move?
I think maybe. All right. Well, one idea is you take the pawn on a5.
Okay.
And then, you know, either it goes back.
What do you think you would play here? What do you think you would play here?
What do I think I would play here as black?
What do you think as black? Yeah.
As black, I mean, the situation is dangerous. I'd probably.
There's only one move that is actually better for black, and the idea is that you're up so much material you can give up some, and it's knight d7. Okay. So it's the idea that this bishop is still blocked even if you win. Does that make sense?
No, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, so it's not even
it's a really tricky concept to see. But basically, so forcing moves are checks, captures, attacks, right? But one of those three are more forcing than the other. So which one do you think is?
Well, I mean, checks is of course the most forcing, right?
Yeah.
You literally got to do something about it.
Because they have to do something about it.
Yeah.
As we see in this capture, it would be really good if they were, but they don't have to.
Yeah.
Right? So let's try to find maybe some checks here.
Ooh, checks. Okay, so You can throw the rook into fire, right? And check at f8. I don't know what that accomplishes. Right? Because then they have to... Like, you're losing a lot of attacking pieces that way. I don't even know if that's that good. Yeah, and then...
So I think the bishop's forced to take it, right?
Yeah.
And, well, let me ask you, what was our problem before? What did we want to happen?
For bishop to move. To open up the d5.
And what happened here?
It moved.
So what can we do now?
We can move the pawn.
Okay.
And is that it? Yeah, right.
Now
that's well, you can
right,
cover with the queen, yet. But that's it. Yeah.
It's not checkmate yet. Now it's checkmate.
Yeah. Okay. That's
so
kind of cool.
Here, this is actually a really interesting move because we're kind of like we're fake mating them with rook f8, but you see it's kind of like processing. We have this goal. How can we accomplish it? Obviously, forcing moves are the easiest move to calculate because you force a reaction, and we see that we're able to do perfectly fine here.
I think one thing that like tricked me a little bit here is because we needed the rook to cut off the F line, right, the vertical. But what happens here is actually because the bishop is blocking it, right? It's blocking the F8 square. So that's a cool trick.
Yeah. All right, so I think this will be our final one for the day, and then I have other stuff. But all right, so let's take a look at this. So we can see equal material. So this is kind of those other positions were kind of crazy, right? This one's maybe a little more chill. So walk me through. What do you notice?
Okay, what do we notice? So center doesn't look very locked. There is. I mean, one thing that like obviously sticks out to me a ton is there is a queen and a rook right behind it. But it's not really pointing at anything like too good. There is a g5 passed pawn. That's actually going right down, the king's lane. So maybe that's something you can exploit. There is a horse trade you can do. But I don't think you're winning any material there.
So let's start with the easiest, right? What's the easiest way to calculate these types of positions? Look at what first?
Material, right? Material is even.
Good.
Two
and
is
then what?
Control the center.
I was thinking more like the forcing moves, right? Actually calculating forcing.
Okay, forcing moves.
So remember we were just talking about last time. So let's look at checks first. Do we even have a check?
No.
Okay, so we can kind of rule that out. Now, what about attacks? Can we attack anything? What about this knight?
Yeah. We can attack it, but you can trade a bunch for it. I don't think it's a good attack.
Yeah. Okay, captures, right? So our only sensible capture is this, right? So they have to do this. And do we have anything here?
Yeah. Okay. No, you can move the horse to d5. Put D5, pressure on it.
But I think this pawn falls first, right?
Yeah.
And it helps protect that pawn. So I think maybe we looked at all the basic forcing moves like a little bit in depth. We didn't really see anything. That's okay, right? So now we gotta kind of go back to what are some other things you notice here?
Ooh, some other things.
Yeah. So I'll start. Like one thing I do with my students is we'll trade off saying things about the position. Okay. So I'll start with this queen is looking at that pawn, right? So we probably need to act fast, because it can't just be like a random move, right?
Yeah.
All right, now
you got to defend it. You got to defend it with the H pawn or the rook.
Ooh, we don't necessarily have to defend it. We could make a of higher value. So that's called danger levels.
Yeah, so you can put pressure on something else. So I think putting pressure on the bishop on d6 bishop probably is a good idea with the horse, because you already have two pieces pointing down that line.
Okay.
So maybe I'll do that. But no. I take that back, right? There is a bishop there, so that doesn't do anything.
So yeah, this is a pretty tricky one just because it looks like such an ordinary position. But I'll give you a small hint. So this queen, it's doing more than one thing. So we see it's attacking this knight, right? But it's also doing something else. And that's the key to this puzzle, okay?
Yeah, it's attacking the bishop.
It's attacking this bishop. And And if this bishop moves?
It's attacking the other bishop. So you gotta move the
Ah,
bishop,
okay.
right?
So it's like the last one. If this bishop moves, we actually win
Uh-huh.
that bishop behind it, right?
Uh-huh.
Because our rook and our queen line up. So
Yeah.
now we kind of found what we want to achieve.
Hmm.
Now we have to ask ourselves, how do we achieve it?
Yeah, so you gotta force it, right? Like you said, we cannot force it
Mhm.
with the check. So we gotta. Well, one way is you do it with you maybe sacrifice your bishop, but I don't think that would make it that good of a trade.
Yeah, so this would just end up being a trade.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we're slightly better after something like this. Mm, I don't know. I don't really think either side has like enough material. Maybe black something like this.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like kind of random. So that bishop trade ends up just being a trade at the very best, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, so there's got to be another way to put pressure on it then. Hmm. Yeah, it wouldn't be the horse. Maybe dangle something in front of it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm honestly not too sure here.
So
Yeah.
we kind of want to get that bishop to move. Hmm. So I'm trying to think of like a good way to explain this without giving away the answer.
Oh man.
What are some ways that we can attack that bishop? So
Yeah.
in like a magical fairyland where we get to make a bunch of moves in a row. What are some ideas?
Okay, so some ideas, right? Do it with the horse, but you
So we
cannot.
attack this. It's not a big enough threat, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And also I think they can take, right? So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's kind of eliminated. So we'll
Right.
highlight that in
We
the
already
image.
talked about bishop. Um,
Oh, which one? Light square, dark square?
the dark square, right? But you cannot
Dark
really
square. So
bring
yeah,
it up.
we talked about that. So it's not going to be like anything with this bishop attacking the
Hmm.
bishop. Okay. This bishop can't force that bishop to move. So now, and this queen obviously wouldn't be able to force it. So what are we left with here?
Ooh. Um, we are left with white square bishop and rooks and pawns.
Okay. So I don't think it's going to be any of these. I'm going to be honest, right? Because this bishop can't do anything to that. So
Yeah. So
this
what?
rook's
You're just gonna
behind
push
there.
the pawns on the king's side?
So on the king side to get rid of that bishop?
I don't know. I suppose then what on the queen's side? You got one passed pawn, so
This seems a little bit too slow, but it
yeah.
is in the right spirit.
Hmm. Man, that's a complicated one. Yeah, I'm honestly like I'm not too sure about this.
Okay. That's fine. So what at this point? What if we were able to get it up one?
Yeah, that would be good, right? That would put pressure on the bishop, which
So would there be a way where we could do that?
yeah. You go for the trade. Yeah, you kill the horse and you let him recapture, and then you push it one.
Perfect, yeah. And this way we're just winning a piece, right?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. So the last one was a little bit trickier. But yeah, so we did three puzzles. I think crushed it, right?
Hmm.
Good job today.
I
So that's
appreciate
all I'm
it.
gonna have time for.
Hmm.
But
No, thank
yeah,
you so much
so
for the lesson. That has been
no
fantastic.
problem.